Good day, and thank you all for coming. St. David's is close to my heart. It is where my family is from. And so today it gives me huge pleasure to announce that Antoine Cannonier has been chosen as candidate for the OBA, One Bermuda Alliance in Constituency 3, and Kimberly Pitcher has been chosen as candidate in Constituency 4. You will see these are more new faces as we move the One Bermuda Alliance forward. I sit before you today just before one of the most important days in our calendar, Labor Day. The One Bermuda Alliance supports the labor movement and always has. The great Dr. E.F. Gordon was the father of Pat Gordon Pamplin. Our party has members from all walks of life whose lives are better because of the labor movement. My own family came from a working class background in St. David's and Bayless Bay, just like Kimberly and Antoine's family does. We have supported initiatives like a living wage through a bipartisan parliamentary committee. When we were the government, we supported labor by refusing to take redundancies, even though we were facing huge pressures to do so to cut costs and help steer our economy in the right direction. We negotiated 10% off prices on Wednesdays with the grocery stores. Despite what some would have you believe, we increased Bermudian employment and introduced minimum expected standards in a number of working class job categories to protect Bermudian workers. We implemented the Jobs Board. We created huge opportunities for Bermudian workers at the airport, the Lorin, St. Regis, the Azore, and yes, the America's Cup. These projects supported and will continue and do so to support Bermudians and their families, especially in the blue-collar sector. With all that said, I want to take this opportunity to say how grateful we are and the OBA are for the shared sacrifice of our brothers and sisters during our time in government. It was their sacrifice that began the slow process of helping a sick economy become and to begin to get better. Thank you. Additionally, we appreciate and salute the work done by leaders like Ottawell Simmons, who was instrumental in building a stronger Bermuda. We believe that no matter the role a person plays in the workforce, that it is important and vital to the sustaining of healthy families. With that said, now is not the time to try and cut the pay of our frontline workers who risk their lives during COVID-19, often without proper safety equipment. Now is the time to celebrate their sacrifice and show them support. Bermuda, remember, the best social program is a job. We can do better. I wish all Bermudians a safe Labor Day. Additionally, and in closing, yesterday I addressed the situation regarding a former MP. Let me be clear, I in no way condone the behavior. I was simply highlighting the fact that after 2 years, we are just dealing with it. No form of harassment is acceptable. It is unacceptable. Thank you. And so, I'll pass it on down to Mr. Cannonier. You need this too?
I never go anywhere without my second opinion. Good day, Bermuda. Good day, One Bermuda Alliance colleagues, and good day to the media. I am Antoine Cannonier of the One Bermuda Alliance. This is a new and exciting experience for me, and I want to thank the OBA, Mr. Cannonier, for selecting me as a candidate for constituency number 3, my home. I have worked with cable and wireless, as a technical operations center technician. I've worked in the Bermuda Police Service as a constable, as a network coordinator, and also as having responsibility to support the officers and the support staff, which were around a number of 800 altogether. I received a commendation for my hard work and dedication to the service. I left the police and volunteered for the America's Cup, which was truly a blessing, seeing an efficiently organized event up close. Currently, I work with the TLC group of companies as a cybersecurity consultant, and I conduct preparatory courses for CompTIA A+ and Sect+, as well as online background checks and digital footprints. I've assisted as a pastor and teacher in the ministry for new converts and special courses for spiritual growth. All these experiences have helped me prepare for what I believe I have been chosen to do, to represent Bermuda and the OBA as a candidate for Constituency 3, St. George's South. I often take my children for drives to St. David's to show them where I grew up and share my stories about the way I had an excellent childhood. Picnics at Cashew City, having Dennis's Hideaway there to grab yourself a quick bite to eat if you didn't pack anything. Being able to jump overboard and take a shortcut to St. George's, swim across the channel. I say these things because I want to remember, and I want people to remember, that St. David's was a very friendly and loving community that looked out for each other. Parents worked late. Your neighbor came by, watched your children for you, ensured they did their homework, gave them something to eat. They got the baths and were put to bed. This is something that needs to return. I also remember the respect. If you went across Mrs. Smith's house and you didn't shout out good afternoon, then by the time you got home, you were corrected, and with a little soreness, you went home and back to Mrs. Smith's and said, I apologize, Mrs. Smith, I should have spoke when I came across. And that's something you knew not to do again. It was an example of the age-old adage, it takes a village to raise a child. What does this have to do with now? Well, we need to understand that these things are what built the treasure of Bermuda as a tourism attraction. People came to Bermuda not so much always for the beaches and the wonderful attractions that were there, but more so for the people. The people were the treasure of Bermuda, and we seem to have lost our way. We need to come back to it. We can do better. We truly can do better. When was the last time that you saw a lemonade stand on the edge of a yard with a child there showing some entrepreneurship skills and having people stop by for a taste of lemonade? When was the last time you saw someone walking with a mower, a young man, who stopped by your house and said, do you need your lawn cut? I could do it for so much. These things are missing now. These things have now been so commercialized because everybody's so busy going to and fro, just too busy. So not enough attention has been put with our children. Not enough attention to bring back what is we were built on. This is what made Bermuda so special. This is why you could walk across a group of children and they all sang out clearly, whether you were a tourist or whether you were a Bermudian. Good morning, good afternoon, and they did it in sync. Where is that today? Let's stop acting like gangs and more like family. During lockdown, we got to act like family again. We got to stop and to know our neighbors better. Let's not lose that. Let's return to our better ways. Join me and let's make a better St. David's and inspire a better Bermuda. Thank you. Kimberly, we're coming down to you here. I got it. There you go. Good?
Good afternoon, Bermuda, One Bermuda Alliance colleagues, and members of the media. Thank you, Mr. Cannonier, for those kind words, for showing faith in me and selecting me as a candidate for Constituency 4. I'm humbled but yet excited. A little about me. I am a nursing assistant looking after seniors in Bermuda. That is my passion. I love people. I have a Bachelor of Science in Psychology. I'm also honored to be a faithful member of the St. David's Seventh-day Adventist Church and would like to recognize my church for their continued service with food distribution to the residents in my constituency. That's very important to me. I do many things in my church. I don't need to tell you Bermuda has her work cut out. An aging population, high cost of living, financial debt, and our children lost in gangs. In 2018, there was a total of 1,142 new referrals for concerns about child abuse here in Bermuda. Constituency 4 is not without challenges. Small challenges have been outstanding for a long time. From reckless speeding along Wilkinson Avenue, where roads are narrow, speed that roads needs to be controlled. Residents are suffering from the noise in St. David's, from the small jets from the private plane facility. To date, nothing than all the original baffles have been put in place, but they were destroyed by the high winds and have not been replaced. Amnesty Blade Road appears to be falling into the sea. The airport also falls into my area. It has provided much needed jobs for Bermudians and will continue to provide jobs for Bermudians once construction is completed. It is a facility we should be celebrating. I have chosen to put my feet to the ground and my heart into the issues with a determination to help my fellow Bermudians. We will do better. Thank you.
All right, any questions? Just let me know where you want to go.
This goes to Mr. Cannonier.
Sure.
What made you choose your current candidates, and why do you think they've been good choices for these constituencies?
Sorry, say that again?
What made you choose your current candidates, and why do you think they make good choices for these constituencies?
Sure. I think it's very clear. As you listen to the expertise that they bring to the table, as you listen to the concerns that they have in the community about family and the security of families, you can hear very clearly, just here, those who are involved in the healthcare, those who have been and are involved in the digital world as we move into the future, those who are involved with the police service and the protection. These skill sets are a keen attribute to how we move Bermuda forward, and you've seen that with just about every rollout that we've had.
And I think my other question is, so Premier said yesterday that the funding for the Department of Child and Family Services and quote, many necessary helping agencies had been slashed underneath the OBA government and were diverted towards the America's Cup. I was wondering, what do you have to say to that? And if elected, is there anything you would do differently in terms of funding this?
Sure. Well, it's a false premise to say that the funds were directed to the airport. As you would know, the airport was not paid for by the taxpayer. And so for the Premier to make such a statement, again, as we see from day to day and week to week, is misleading to the public. It is vitally important that the Premier get on with dealing with the challenges that we have seen over the last 2 years on a number of bases concerning the Department of Child and Family Services. And whether we believe it is underfunded or not funded enough, the fact is we have major challenges. You do not deflect from the issues that you are facing today. Our Premier needs to get on with dealing with the issues of today so that we protect our young people and ensure that they are not going to be continued to fall into the unfortunate circumstances that we have seen unfold over the last couple of years. Department of Child and Family Services has had its challenges over many years. And so I respect the fact that not enough has been done probably for decades, but now is not the time to push it aside when so many people are coming forward with the atrocities that have been taking place. We have appealed to the AG to work with the leadership there, to change the leadership, to make changes that we feel are necessary, and we will continue to ask this government to look into the challenges that it is having and to deal with those challenges.
I'm sorry, Premier, I hope I don't misunderstand. Sorry, Mr. Kennedy, the Premier was saying that the money was diverted towards the America's Cup, not the airport.
Same answer.
Same answer? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Opposition Leader. I know these people online are going to ask, but
Sure.
What relationship do you have with Mr. Cannonier, if any?
Yeah, absolutely. You're looking at cousins here. Antoine has been involved in the political arena for some time now, but in the background, and so has Kimberly. Back when I first got involved in politics, Kimberly was around, and she was spending quite a bit of time with the then Suzanne Haushauser, the then MP honorable member from Constituency 4. And so Kimberly comes with that experience of shadowing Suzanne Haushauser in Constituency 4. And of course, Antoine is a homegrown, like all three of us, from St. David's, and he knows the constituency very well. Antoine is a first cousin of mine.
Okay, thank you. And my second and last question for you. With regard to St. David's, it seems like those constituencies, it's more important to be from that area rather than some of the other constituencies in Bermuda. What would your assessment be?
Yeah, I've repeated that several times, and you will see as we continue to roll out that reflection that the East and West End constituencies have always been those constituencies that tend to move back and forth from one government to the next, depending on what the issues are, but they have always responded well to someone in and within those constituencies. So you'll see that as we move along.
Thank you.
None for me.
No? Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
Mr.
yes.
We're just trying to
Okay.
Stop.
Antoine?
move, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All the sliding the
Yeah.
microphone back.
Hi, Mr. Cannonier. Being that you spoke a lot about community in St. David's, you're from there yourself. Economically, how do you think that St. David's can be improved upon to help those that live in that constituency?
A very good question. Looking at St. David's, there are some issues there. It looks like a forgotten part of Bermuda. The Battery, places like Dennis's Hideaway never replaced. Black Horse doesn't exist anymore. So these are areas where it could be an injection of finances, because those were attractions for people to come and see. I mean, I went fishing there maybe 2 weeks ago. I took my son and I said, oh yeah, look, we used to go fishing at 101 steps. And when I got there, it was like, I was navigating some serious peril just to get to the bottom. And I am getting a little bit ill, so my knees weren't too happy about my choice. But this is one of the things that I'm looking at and saying, wow, what's happened to St. David's? I can't really follow up with these wonderful stories I could tell, because then I look at the park and where we used to have all the trails and stuff. I mean, these are areas that need to be cleaned up, and something needs to be done about them. It does exist. It's part of Bermuda. So, yeah, I believe if we do make the effort to do that, then this could create some, jobs for people as well as bring money in, because now tourists will want to come there, and some type of attraction could be created there, whether it's restaurants being interjected or some type of festivity, or even any type of I don't know. It's a lot of things that could be done, to be honest.
Over the past decade, St. David's has been one of the primary has been one of the schools that have been targeted to close just because of low enrollment.
Mhm.
Either that or East End primary. What would be your sentiment on keeping the school open or having it closed due to low enrollment?
It's priceless to keep that open. St. David's, I believe the community that we have there is an excellent community. It builds very good character in children, so it would be a very sad day if they did close that. The fact that it's low enrollment, that's just a reflection of the fact that we just aren't having many children. I don't think it's something that needs to happen. It doesn't need to be closed. I personally think that's probably it's a preference of mine. But I'm from St. David, so hey.
That's one of the better performing.
Yeah, it is also one of the better performing schools. Exactly. Yeah.
I know, everyone doesn't want their school in their area.
Yeah, yeah. Loaded question.
But on an economic basis,
Mhm.
can you see any reason why we need to close schools in Bermuda and consolidate?
No.
Keeping in mind that you want to keep St. David's.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's a good idea to consolidate, not in that way. That doesn't do it well. Just have more schools, and having smaller people, you can put more effort into the children, better growth. It's easier for them to understand things and not get so distracted by a large amount of people. The teachers are able to actually teach and not be distracted with several children in the class, because usually when you bring them together, then you have a lot more students in one class, and I don't think that's the best approach.
Thank you very much.
Actually, one more question. If we can just kind of bring the down to the other
Sorry.
Good afternoon.
So you mentioned that you had a bachelor in psychology and you were a nursing assistant, and over the last little while we've seen quite a few calls made towards the need for better mental health resources for the Mid-Atlantic Wellness Institute, just for the sake of those who need help and those who could fall further into the cracks. As someone with a nursing background, what do you think can be done to improve to improve mental health facilities here without adding too much towards the debt?
Well, that's a very, very large question to ask, especially when we see people on the streets that need help, and actually some that are dealing with treatments now. It's just something that we definitely would have to look at on a hold. I can't say at this moment what can be done, but I definitely can think about that. I'm not sure at the moment, but we can definitely think about it and consider it.
I see.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You listed several different things that needed fixing around St. David's to bring it back up to what it used to be. What would be your number one priority if you were elected?
Well, one of the things that interests me was just listening to people was dealing with the aircraft situation, because that seems like something that really people were annoyed about, is the noise. I don't know the solution to the problem, but I mean, it's something that could be collaborated with people so that are in that area when it comes to the sound and the pollution from the gases from the the aircrafts themselves. I don't know what we can do, but I'm sure that there's a solution that we can come up with.
Thank you.
Hi there.
Hi.
I know that the candidate for the other party hasn't announced who would be running in that seat, but I do understand that they hold majority votes. What would you do differently that you could provide for your constituents?
Well, because I'm a people person, first of all, I would like to get to know more people in my constituents and find out what their needs are first. I think it's very important that you find out what their needs are as a people so that you can address those needs directly versus on a whole. I mean, just as our faces are different, so are our needs. And we have a lot of faces between Hamilton Parish and St. David's. And I'm sure that needs vary from person to person. So I would just like to get to know them so that I can actually provide or assist in providing for their needs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. We'll hold still for a minute.